Hey guys, Technomentary with the video for you guys. In today's video, we're going to talk about the iPad Air 2 going into 2022 and if this device is worth it or not buying in 2022. A couple things you need to know, and also we're going to talk about things like the history, the hardware, the camera, battery, performance, software, supportability of Apple products, and finally talk about the big question: is the iPad Air 2 worth buying in 2022 or not? As you can see here, the Air is one of the lighter iPads you can get here. As you can see, this is the gold edition one. You can also get in silver and space gray, as well as there's a set of unique finishes that these come in. As you can see, these are really thin in a lot of ways. You get these bottom speakers that port for charging, and then the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack here. Now, you'll be surprised to know that this iPad was actually released back in 2014, same time as the Mini 4 was released. In a sort of way, they're similar. The Mini 3 and the 4 are performs just like this one, but the thing about the 4 the 3 here is that the 3 stopped getting updates past iOS 12. This kept on getting updates even to iOS 15, and that probably makes a really big difference for this iPad. So you see that screen here, as you can see in my hand, it's pretty nice to hold. It's a little bit bigger than your mini edition, but smaller than the Pro model lineup here. The Air generally is meant for it to be lightweight, but at a bigger screen. So you got that 9.7 inch display. You got 2048 by 1536 pixel resolution. And the other thing about this is the camera here. So you got two different cameras. You got the back camera and the front camera here. So as you notice here, if we open up the camera app here, simply we'll be able to see sort of the things that you can do with this. So you can actually record and take photos in a couple different ways. You can do pano mode as well here, and you also have slow motion as well. So all these abilities are there thanks to that 8 megapixel tiny camera on the back you see here. The one thing it is missing is the flash, and that's the case for most of the Air lineup, is that they do not have flash enabled on them. The other thing to know about this iPad is does have a front-facing selfie camera here. So if you're doing FaceTime and such, you get a 1.2 pixel front camera. Now that's not a lot, considering that nowadays iPads hold up to 12 megapixel cameras in their front-facing one to really enhance, especially on the Pro lineup for you. Now moving on to the next thing is the hardware. And when we talk about the hardware, we probably want to talk about also the thing with these iPads is that if you really are looking at the model, originally there's a couple models you can get it in terms of storage. Originally the price for the 16 gig was $499 when it came out in 2014. Now you could also got the 32 gig or even the bigger storage. You just had to pay a lot more for it. The other thing to talk about, it's going to be the hardware running on it. It does run that A8X chip with 2 gigs of RAM. Now that 2 gigs of RAM with that A chip made it possible for this iPad to be updated to iOS 15. And then when it comes to battery life, you'll be surprised to know that the iPad Air does hold a pretty big battery, and that's because it's a bigger tablet here, so you have room for a bigger battery. So it does have a 7340 mAh battery, which generally lasts you around 8 to 9 hours and even up to 10 hours depending on what you do over time here, which you'll find you can look at all the metrics that you need to in terms of what apps are using your camera. So other things, probably if you're looking at this iPad, and you might ask the question, is the iPad Air 2 support it? Does it support Apple Pencil? Unfortunately, it does not support any of the Apple Pencils. It doesn't support any of the Magic Keyboards as well. So in terms of supportability, extensibility, you don't really get much of it. You can pretty much put a smart case on it and make use of it for the most part, but you're not able to add the additional accessories, which makes it tough for things like graphic design or simply using it for taking notes, or simply if you're a person that wants to do a lot more with your iPad in terms of graphic design. So you're not going to get all of that functionality. What you will get with this iPad is that you'll get the latest iOS 15 update. You can update it if you want or stay on 14. Generally, as iPads age, we recommend staying maybe a iOS version behind if you can, but if you're already on iOS 15, it works equally as well. As you can see, we updated this to iOS 15 for just to show how it goes in terms of performance here. You'll notice here when we're opening up apps and such, they pretty much open up. If you do have to wait sometimes a few seconds for graphics to load up, but and then it does start going ahead and opening up the application as we need to. So this is a really good device, especially if you're looking for something to watch, or maybe videos like YouTube, maybe Netflix. Pick your favorite streaming platform, because they're all supported application on iOS 15, which unfortunately the Air 1, which stopped getting updated iOS 12, sort of lacks. So this one, if you're looking for a cheaper, lighter weight iPad, this is where the Air model comes in. And to kind of answer the question for you guys is that we know that this iPad came out with iOS 8. Now being able to get iOS 15, the 7th generation of iOS update, that's really impressive. Like, not to say that this iPad is going to be like a pro model, but that's really impressive, being able to get 7 different updates. So to answer the big question, is the iPad Air 2 worth it in 2022? Our simple answer is going to be yes, it is worth it. And the reason why we say that, it's because it is a lightweight device that allows you to do simple things like use it for social media, entertainment purposes, which most likely you're going to be using this iPad for your social media stuff. So it's a fun kind of tablet that you might want to have in addition to even doing light work on it. Now, what is not recommended to get for this iPad is that if you're going to be looking to do things like graphic design, video editing, heavy usage for work, because you don't have compatibility to an Apple Pencil. So if you're taking notes for school, things like that might be really tough for you. But if you don't mind not having Apple Pencil, but you can still use it for simply just browsing and using it for additional, maybe for your other things like Zoom or any sort of video chat platform, it definitely gets the job done. But when it comes to the camera here, you may not have as a good of a camera as some of the newer devices there. So that's our answer for you guys in terms of, is the iPhone Air 2 worth it or not? We want to hear from you guys. If you guys use this iPad, what's your thought and opinion on it? Make sure you guys leave a comment in the comment section. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys next time.